Can we expect a bounce back for Brady? That is the first topic of conversation in the 5-minute edition of Power Plays, powered by FanDuel. Carlo, an inauspicious start for Senators captain Brady Tkachuk in Game 1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. What kind of grade would you give him for his performance?
Well, very low grade for a very unimpactful performance by Brady Tkachuk in his first ever playoff game. I'd give him a B-. Because, you go back to the opening scene of him listening to the national anthems, he's talking to his glove. You can see the nerves in him. And every player would feel that in that moment playing their first NHL game in a raucous crowd. But some has to wonder what's really bothering Brady Tkachuk. There's been a lot that's kept him out of the lineup as of late. He didn't really impact the game the way most of us expected to. Yes, he had 7 hits. Yes, he had 5 shots on net. But how impactful were those plays really? So there's not that much jump in his step, but if I was to predict what type of game we would expect Brady Tkachuk to have, he's probably seen everything, he's probably heard everything, and he's probably ready to respond to all the critics and come out with a big splash tonight.
Needless to say, for the Senators' sake, they're going to need a big performance for Tkachuk in game number 2. Let's focus in on the 2 power forwards, Tkachuk for the Sens and Matthew Knies for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Who's the better bet to score in game number 2?
Well, I like definitely Brady Tkachuk to bounce back because if we look at him as the fierce competitor that he is, that's what we expected for him to do, lead his team. But I like Matthew Knies on this one because Matthew Knies coming into the playoffs has been one of the Maple Leafs' best forwards, surrounded by the likes of Nylander, Marner, Tavares, and Matthews, all guys that he's going to be playing power play 1 with. And if you're giving me better odds for Knies to score that, I'm taking Knies all day right now.
Makes all the sense in the world. 3 power play goals for the Toronto Maple Leafs in game number 1. A major issue for Ottawa in that area. Let's talk about another major issue for Ottawa. That's Linus Ullmark, who gave up 6 goals in game number 1. Would you take the over or the under of 3.5 goals scored for the Maple Leafs in game number 2?
Well, this one's a tricky one because you're trying to evaluate what Linus Ullmark is going to show up. If it's the Vezina goalie, Linus Ullmark, and the goalie that the Ottawa Senators need him to be to have success, then I'm going to pick the under. But if you go on historical stats in the playoffs for Linus Ullmark, not looking so good. 4 or more goals in 6 of his 10 playoff starts, a 3-7 record, a 3.82 goals against average, an 877 save percentage. Those don't scream under numbers, especially with against the Maple Leafs team right now that is clicking on all cylinders, had everything going good for them in game 1. So I like the Maple Leafs' chances to score in this one. I think the game is going to be a little bit tighter, but 3 or more, give me the Maple Leafs with the way they're playing right now.
I like how you said the game is going to be tighter because I have concocted a same game parlay, 3 legs for our audience. Are you ready?
I am ready. Give it to me.
All right. Ottawa plus a goal and a half is the first leg. I think you nailed it. The game will be closer in game 2 than it was in game 1. You have to expect the Sens PK to be better and the Sens goaltending to be better. And let's look at the 2 power forwards for Ottawa and for Toronto. Brady Tkachuk, a big bounce back. Matthew Knies, he keeps things rolling. Both of those players to record a point. Ottawa plus a goal and a half. Tkachuk and Knies to record a point. Plus 363 on FanDuel. What could go wrong, Coco?
Ooh, love it. Sergeant spread coming in hot.
Coming out of retirement. All right, lastly, let's focus in on what happened last night between the Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings. A wild game, one that saw Connor McDavid nearly play hero and carry his team back from the dead. Would you consider a sprinkle, even though Edmonton's down 1-0 to the LA Kings in the best of 7, betting McDavid to win the Conn Smythe?
Well, at plus 2,600, it is tremendous value if you believe the Edmonton Oilers can win the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, this year, I don't believe the Edmonton Oilers can win the Stanley Cup because they just got too much going against them right now. Stuart Skinner looked very average last night. Evan Bouchard looked very vulnerable defensively, not playing alongside Ekholm. How much can McDavid and Draisaitl do to carry this team against an LA team that I think is better suited this year than any other time they've played them to actually beat Edmonton because of the strength of their lineup and home ice advantage? So no, I don't believe in the Edmonton Oilers, And no, I would not be betting Connor McDavid right now to win the Conn Smythe.
It seems like any time you get McDavid 26-1 to win the Conn Smythe, you have to take it, but maybe not this year with the vulnerability of the Edmonton Oilers. This has been the 5-minute edition of Power Plays, powered by FanDuel.